Hi there everyone, once again this is Digital Life Changer. In this video, we are going to show you how to resolve a missing color on your printer. By the way, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get notified to our next tutorial videos. We upload helpful videos regularly. Also, you can check our previous video on how we solve a misaligned printer. Shout out to the following from our last tutorial video. Our first step is to identify what color is missing. In order to do this, we can do the print quality diagnostic test. Now, press and hold for 3 seconds the Start Copy Color button. Then, release. This will print the print quality diagnostic page. On the printed quality diagnostic page, we can confirm that the color yellow and light yellow is missing. Therefore, there is something wrong with the flow of yellow ink. Of course, you need to check if all tanks are filled with inks, especially the tank with the missing color, in our case is yellow. Since all ink tanks are filled, it could mean that the problem is inside the printer. Now, prepare a Torx screwdriver or hex key. Also, in advance, prepare an ink cartridge suction toolkit. Now, let's prepare the printer for disassembly. Take out any paper and pull back in the paper feed tray along with the output tray. Shut down the printer, and of course, don't forget to detach the plug for safety purposes. Now, let's take out the scanner assembly. Open the front cover assay to expose the pair of Torx screws in the front. Another pair of Torx screws is located at the top of the scanner just beside the paper input feed tray. In case you don't have a Torx screwdriver, you can use a hex key or Allen wrench. Trust me, it will still work. Now, once all 4 screws are taken out, slowly lift the scanner assembly near the back area. Note, not too high to avoid disconnecting and damaging the cables inside. While lifting the scanner, slowly disconnect the locking hatch at the front side. Then, lift the front side and lower the back side of the scanner. This will provide a better view of the formatter board and the cables. Then, slowly take out the 2 cables connected to the scanner assembly. To remove the formatter board, we must first take out the 2 Torx screws. Then, slowly detach the connected cables. Now, let's check the carriage unit. Let's observe the yellow ink tube. Notice the different colors. The color near the end of the tube is yellow compared to this part which is orange. Yellow means that it has air in it, and orange means that it contains ink. Actually, this is yellow ink. It just appears orange when the tube is filled. So we need to push the yellow ink to the end of the tube. This next step is optional, but I'm still suggesting you do this. Opening your printer is a very rare opportunity, so better take the chance and clean it. Do not blow it, just use a vacuum cleaner. Now, let's unscrew the carriage assembly unit. Note that the number of Torx screws are dependent on the model of the printer. Then, carefully lift and invert the carriage assembly unit. Make sure that when you place it down, ink tubes and cables are not pressed to avoid issues. Now, observe the inks from the colored print head. We can see that there is no observable presence of the yellow ink. Prepare your ink suction toolkit. Take out the syringe and the rubber head with the smallest cavity. By the way, you can order this online. In my case, it took the package just 3 days to arrive, which is good especially if you're in a budget and on a tight schedule to repair your printer. Going back, again, choose the rubber head with the smallest cavity. Then, insert the syringe to the rubber head, make sure it is tight. Now, press the rubber head against the colored printhead. Make sure that there is no leakage. Then, pull up the syringe to suck the ink from the colored printhead. If there is a leakage, only a small amount of ink will be sucked. Keep doing it until you get it right. You may lift the carriage assembly unit and check the inks in the tubes. You will know that the suction process is a success when it feels heavy pulling the syringe, and also when you check the print heads, there is already the presence of the yellow ink color. Now, let's reassemble the carriage assembly. Again, be careful in returning the carriage assembly without damaging the cables. Make sure that the alignment is secured through the alignment guides and screw holes. At this point, confirm again if all tubes are filled with inks, especially the tube with the locking color. In our case is yellow. Once all set, fix the carriage assembly with the screws. Return the formatter board and connect the cables. Note, make sure to properly connect the cables to avoid damage. Once all cables are connected, fix the formatter board with the screws. Then, reattach the scanner assembly. Make sure to carefully attach the cables to the formatter board. Once cables are connected, lower the front side of the scanner assembly to fit it to the alignment hatch. Then, slowly place the back side of the scanner assembly. Before returning the Torx screws, we must check first if the printer is functioning. So, power up the printer. Then, let's do the test print using the print quality diagnostic page. In order to do this, if you may recall at the beginning of this video, we need to press and hold for about 3 seconds the Start Copy Color button. As you can see, both yellow and light yellow colors are present. Also, at the bottom part of the page is the green color. Comparing the first and second test prints, it is safe to say that your printer is now back to good working condition. But before we celebrate, let's return the Torx screws to fix and finish the assembly. Congratulations, you just repaired your printer like a pro! So that's it for today's episode. But before we go, if you're new to our channel, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Our goal is to reach as many people as possible with our simple videos. Until next time, bye bye!